Hey, welcome to Man Kitchen Recipes. I am Kevin, and tonight I'm making some cheeseburger pull-aparts, kind of like little appetizers, if you will. I mean, you could stack 4 or 5 of these on your plate and have a side dish and have at it. Anyway, let's go inside. I'll show you how we make these, and we'll come back out and we'll do a taste test. For these, I'm using a 1 pound of hamburger for these cheeseburger pull-aparts. Look at there, 1 ounce. I'm going to measure out 1 ounce out of this pound, so I should roughly get how many? 16? Okay. I'll get these done and we'll be back in a second. Just like that, I have 16 1 ounce meatballs. So what I'm going to do now is I got my tray feet side up. I'm going to roll these into a ball, and then I'm going to kind of flatten them out a little bit. Kind of put an indentation in them. They're going to shrink up. So I'm going to try to make a little well right there. And then I'm going to set them here on my baking sheet cooling rack. Baking cooling rack. Okay, so I'm going to make these little patties. And then I'm going to do an indentation in there. And set them here. All right, I'll be right back. All right, and just like that, 16 little tiny patties. They're curled up a little bit on the edge. It's not super critical that you make a well for what we're going to be doing with these. All right, so I'm going to add some Holy Cow barbecue rub from Meat Church just to give them a little extra flavor. Okay, now we're going to get these out in the pellet grill at 250 degrees for about, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. See you out there. All right, we got the pellet grill heated up to 250. Let's see, I'm going to put these in over here. And I'm also going to throw in my cast iron pan. And we'll let this go at least 30 minutes. I'll look at them after 30. They may go 40, 45, but yeah, we'll be back in a second. Alright, going on these little cheeseburger pull-aparts, we got some pickles, green chili, onion, American cheese, ketchup, and mustard. Alright, so let's see how they look. Oh yeah, look at those little things. Alright, check that out. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, if they'll come off of here, now I'm going to set them in the cast iron pan. Alright, well, they shrunk up, so the pan, I guess we could have put even more in here if you were serving for a bigger crowd. Kind of pull these off the edge. So with the pan, what I kind of am looking for is a little bit of a sear on the bottom of these. Just trying to arrange them so that they're kind of close to each other. Guess that'll work. Okay. Now, I guess I better move in or zoom in. Show you what I'm going to be doing here. Alright, kind of hard to see. But so I'm going to put a dill pickle on each burger. Alright, looks like I had just enough there. I'm going to put a little bit of onion on each one. Yeah, that'll work. Of course, you don't have to add green chili, but I'm adding green chili. Wouldn't be the Man Kitchen if I didn't have my green chili, right? Green chili cheeseburger pull-apart. Kind of like an appetizer. Alright. Okay. Almost forgot. We need to have some ketchup on our burgers. Oopsie. Okay. And a little mustard. Alright. Now what we need is some American cheese. right, so now what we're going to do is let this go for about 15 minutes, let that cheese melt, and we'll be just about ready. Right, it has been 10 minutes. Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't think the American cheese would take that long to melt. Would you look at that. Cheeseburger pull-aparts. All right, I'm going to take these in, let them cool off, and we'll do a taste test. There they are in the cast iron pan. I'm going to try to get them on a plate, more of a serving plate than the cast iron, just so, you know, if you make these, you don't want anybody to get burnt by the cast iron. So hopefully I can get these off and on here. That wasn't too bad. All right, well, one had to flip over, didn't it? Okay, what do you think of that? As they cool off, the cheese will make them kind of stick together and become a pull-apart. All right, let's go. I'm going to let these cool for a minute and we'll do a taste test. So what do you think of that? Little cheeseburger pull-aparts, little cheeseburger appetizers, if you will. I mean, you could get a plate of fries and throw 3 or 4 or 5 of these on a plate and call it dinner, but we're going to make these as a pull-apart. Hopefully they'll be cheesy. Let's see. Not so much on that one because my pickle fell off. My toppings fell off. All right, let's try that again. There you go. Well, I will say, these are definitely cheeseburgers. Very cheesy, and they taste amazing. All right, get out there on that pellet grill or smoker and make you some little pull-apart cheeseburgers. Thanks for checking this out. I hope you have a great day.